Welcome back to the MMA Plug, presented to you by the Talk of Colorado on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio. I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside the Big Yins UFC middleweight, Josh Fremd. You can give him a follow at Josh Fremd MMA. Give me a follow at Comments from the Peanut Gallery. If you're watching along online, make sure that you smash that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications so you do not miss a drop. We're going to dive into the UFC on ABC 3 preview right now.
Say that 3 times fast. Go.
I don't even want to go that far.
Wow.
You see? Oh, you want to talk to me about pronouncing things here, buddy?
I wasn't saying pronouncing. I said say that 3 times fast. That is not pronunciating.
UFC Long Island, UFC Long Island, UFC Long Island.
No,
okay,
come on,
okay,
kid.
I'm gonna switch it up on you.
UFC on ABC
Curveball.
3.
Athlete, make an adjustment.
Oh, boom! I sit back on it and dinger. Moving on.
This weekend, we have a top contender matchup in the featherweight division. We have T-City Brian Ortega taking on Pantera Yaya Rodriguez. Yaya says that he's been promised a title shot with a win here. Obviously, there's nothing that's out there in a guarantee or in writing or anything like that that has been publicly made available. But, Josh, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, the only thing guaranteed are death and taxes. But I think that this matchup is super exciting. I think that just like this last weekend, we have another phenomenal fight card with a phenomenal main event. We got Brian Ortega and Yaya Rodriguez, and Yaya had one of the most epic knockouts back here in Denver in 2018 at the 25th anniversary show. And man, how do you top that?
I mean, Josh, he was down on the cards all 4 rounds pretty much, and he has that Hail Mary duck under elbow that he threw against the Korean Zombie for the curtain call at 4 minutes and 59 seconds of the 5th round.
Screw it. D-Hop's down there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. For those of you who don't understand that reference, keep up. But,
You're behind, yeah.
In this matchup right here, Josh, it's one that I think it plays well into Yair's favor, to be honest, because Brian Ortega doesn't press the takedown. That's just not who he is. He believes in his stand-up. He likes to bang, even though he's a jiu-jitsu wizard and one of the best submission artists in the entire game. But again, when we're talking about the link that's missing from getting it from the feet down to the ground where he is in charge, he doesn't have strong offensive wrestling in the takedown department.
Yeah.
Do you think that that is something that is going to work against him, especially with someone who has the kicking prowess and just the dexterity from the lower half that somebody like Yair has, especially he starts going down and maybe duck for an ankle pick, a low single, something like that. Does he eat one on the way in?
I think that, he doesn't have great offensive wrestling, but he does have decent pressure on the cage. And if anything, he is able to catch a kick and pull guard or some type of things like that. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't 100% count his wrestling out of it. If he wants to get it to the ground, I think that he's worked definitely on his wrestling to get better. But I do think that we're going to see a striker's delight in the beginning. And it's going to determine, Yair's efficiency is going to determine what exactly Ortega does.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it is worth noting that at times, especially like, say, the Jeremy Stevens fight, Yair did start to fade toward the end of that fight.
Mm-hmm.
In a 5-round fight, we're talking 25 minutes potentially here. Someone like Brian Ortega is tough to put away. I mean, he is tough to put away. We've seen that guy take a beating like an old catcher's mitt and just keep on moving forward.
All the sports references today. Yeah, and I mean, when you look at it, it's definitely, it shows it in the odds, with Ortega coming in at a -165. I think that the odds makers know that. They know that he's tough and he's hard to put away. And yeah, Yair is going to throw some really chaotic stuff at you, the whole kitchen sink. But if you can't put him out, he's going to be there waiting for you to make a mistake. And when he does, he has the ability to end it with a submission very fast.
Absolutely. When we get all down to it, Josh, who's your pick?
I'm made a decent amount of money last week. No brag, humble brag. But I think I'm gonna stick smart here, and I'm gonna go with Ortega because I think that you know Yair definitely is not one dimensional, but I do believe he is very good at striking. I would love to see his ability on the ground with Ortega because I do believe Ortega does have the advantage in the grappling department, and if he can't put him out, then he's gonna be there coming for you to the end. So I got Ortega.
I think it's going to be a fun fight, one way or the other. I'm just, I'm in general, I'm a big T City fan. I'm a triangle guy by
T-City.
style as it is, so got to go with T City on this one. In the co-main event, we have a matchup between a stalwart of the strawweight division, one of the pioneers who's been around for forever. We have friend of the show, the karate hottie, Michelle Waterson. She's taking on Amanda Lemish. Josh, Michelle is always a gamer, and she's going to fight her heart out. But I think that we do have to ask the valid question at this stage at 36. She's 1-3 in her last 4 fights. What is still in the tank? And not just necessarily a question of physically, but what's still there mentally. We see it from time to time from fighters who get toward the mid to later 30 stages, especially those that have been in the game and at such a high level for so long the way that she has. Sometimes your love or your passion goes on to other things. It's not to say that it's wrong or it's bad, but you have other things that open up. Could be business opportunities, could be other just interests that you're a family. She's a mom.
There
All
are
these
other
things.
things in life besides fighting, for sure.
Correct.
And I think that, hey, we could have a little Diaz situation here where she's just trying to fight out her contract. That's a little bit of a nonsense saying. But I do think that she's going to have a good showing. How good against Lemos, I'm not absolutely sure because she is just on a skyrocket right now. And like you said, she's 1-4 in her last fights. Karate hottie she is. I mean, I'm rooting for her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we say, she is one of the top stars of the women's division on the women's roster as a whole for a reason. I mean, her fire was burning as bright as it possibly could at one point, but just again, like we say, like at this stage, it's down to a smolder. Whereas on the flip side, you have Lemish, who is trying to bounce back off of a loss, but that was in a top contenders matchup with Jessica Andrade.
Yeah.
And to be fair, when we've said it on this show before too as well, who you lose to matters. If you go out there and especially you get finished in the first round by Jessica Andrade, I'm not going to completely hold it against you because she's a mauler. You know what I'm saying?
Smaller.
If that's who is the first one to break your win streak of, I believe, it was like 8 fights, something like that, and you were on a tear up to that point, if you run into that sort of buzzsaw like Andrade, hey, is what it is.
It is.
We've said it in multiple divisions that Andrade is one of the best in the world in multiple weight classes, but she's just not the best in any single one of them.
Yeah.
No, that's just being fair about it in that way. But now to put the spotlight on a couple fights, fighters, or props on the card that we have our eyes on, Josh, what are you taking a look at?
I want you guys to go back and hit a replay at the beginning of this segment. I did a little hand motion. I was looking. I was like, yeah, because I was I was checking out our rundown, and you didn't take it. I was so pumped that you didn't take it. You're pause, bro. So I was so pumped that you didn't pick this fight, and I have the opportunity to bring it up. Shane Burgos and Charles Jourdain.
Imagine why I didn't pick it.
Imagine that. Guys, this fight is going to be an absolute barn burner. I'm a huge Burgos fan. I'm a huge Jourdain fan. And I'm sitting there in my popcorn. I hope both you guys do great. I hope you come out healthy. I don't want to see Burgos knocked out again. Love that dude. But it's going to be a phenomenal fight. No betting. No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just sitting on my couch, and I'm watching that fight like a fan.
Yeah, that one's just a pure fan's delight right there. Anybody who you want to know what the fight game is all about, those two are going to be sure to deliver. They never have a boring performance out there. Charles Jourdain against Shane Burgos. I knew that was what Josh was going to pick for his feature fight, so I conveniently prepared a different one.
This guy over here acting like he knows me or something.
Yeah, we've only been in the trenches together doing this for a year now. Only a little bit of time spent together on the mic here.
What are you looking at, Curtsy?
For me, I'm going to turn the scales back 10 pounds. We're taking a look in the bantamweight division. We have Ricky Simone, who's taking on the undefeated Jack Shore. It's an interesting matchup stylistically. You have someone like Ricky, who is a flat-out bulldog. I love watching Ricky Simone fight just because he is all gas, no brakes. But then on the flip side, you have someone like Jack Shore, who Jack Shore is undefeated for a reason. That is a hot prospect who is on the rise. Both of these guys are on the ascent, and I'm just excited to see what a couple of these young bucks who are jockeying for position in what is arguably the most competitive division in the UFC right now.
Phenomenal fights this week. Don't let this sneak under, guys. Don't miss out, because this is going to be a great card. We have to give a huge shout out to my guy Dustin the Hanyak Jacoby, as he's going to battle this week as well on UFC Long Island. Training with DJ, I can say it over and over again, has been a critical tipping point in my career when it comes to striking and MMA and kickboxing, everything of that nature. Great leader in the gym, great athlete, and he's defending his number 15 spot, his rank in the UFC. Phenomenal. He's going to go out and put on.
Absolutely, and Dustin certainly has a warm welcome spot here with us on the MMA Plug. He was our first ever in-studio guest. He was a part of our live UFC watch party, the first one that we held up at the Grand Z Sports Casino basically a year ago now at this point, just past a year ago, a few days back. That's a guy who's been on the program many a time, so we wish you nothing but the best, Dustin. We also want to throw a shout-out to Lucky Lauren Murphy, fighting out of Elevation Fight Team. She's taken on the former world champion in the bantamweight division. This is a flyweight fight, but she's taken on Miesha Tate as Miesha Tate drops down a division to try to continue her Hall of Fame career and historic run. If we know anything about Lauren Murphy, we know that she's going to be well prepared and she's going to push the pace.
Yeah, that's going to be a phenomenal fight with those ladies.
Certainly. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? What are some of the fights that have your attention, or maybe a couple of lines or parlays that you think you might be able to get yourself a little bit of an edge on? And right now, just shop your books for the best value, but there's going to be some value on the Dustin Jacoby side. So I implore you to take a look across the board there. Like I say, I'm Jordan Kurtz. You can follow me along at Comments from the Peanut Gallery. Follow the Big Yins, Josh Fremd at Josh Fremd MMA. This is the MMA Plug presented to you by the Talk of Colorado on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps us continue to produce this original MMA content and bring it for you every single week. Tune in to the MMA Plug presented by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. or live stream at DenverSportsBetting.com/radio.